What is up, you guys? It is Zach, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to be talking more about Mario Strikers Battle League, as we've actually been getting quite a bit of information over the past few weeks. Which makes sense, given that the game comes out in about 2.5 weeks. It makes sense that we're hearing more these past few weeks, and I've mostly kept quiet, mainly because A, I've been very busy with personal life stuff, but also it's mostly just been a lot of little things that have been shown off in these trailers / gameplay videos, so I wanted to wait until there was enough stuff to make a good video out of it. So let's talk about the 5 new things we know about Mario Strikers Battle League. Firstly, we have now seen all of the playable characters' Hyper Strikes. I honestly think they're all really good, but I'll actually show you guys the Hyper Strikes first in case you haven't seen them, and then I'll give my specific thoughts. So here you go. So like I mentioned, I really like the Hyper Strikes. I really like the characterization of the characters in these Hyper Strikes. I honestly think it does a decent job. While the characters may not look as aggressive and intense as they did with the Mega Strikes back in Mario Strikers Charged, the Hyper Strikes still fit the characters exceptionally well. My favorite ones have to be Rosalina's Hyper Strike, Wario's Hyper Strike, and Waluigi's Hyper Strike. Of course, I miss how absolutely insane and intense and mean-spirited that they looked when they did the Mega Strikes back in Charged, but given that I knew it would be toned down for this game, this is honestly not that bad. Secondly, we got a 6-minute gameplay segment of the French version of this game, or at least it's got French commentary over it. We see quite a bit in this game, being multiple characters' Hyper Strikes, post-goal animations, etc, etc. I'm not going to show off the whole clip here, as I'm sure you've all seen it before, but I thought this gameplay was pretty good. The only complaint I have about the gameplay, and granted this could just be how the game has been set for the gameplay, is that there wasn't really background music. I mean, you hear the audience cheering, which is great, feels like soccer, but there was no background music. It was kind of like FIFA, how there's not really background music, but just the audience cheering. Mario Strikers Charged had an epic soundtrack that went along with each stadium, so I really hope that they didn't cheap out on the music here. I want each stadium to have a real bump-in theme that suits it well, while also being really high energy. For the really specific, minor points, I'd recommend watching GameXplain's video on the match. Jake did a really good job talking about each individual little point of just certain little things in this gameplay video that stood out to him, and like I said, I just highly recommend watching that for those minor specific points. Thirdly, this week we got a couple random, really short trailers that show off things like the Hyper Strikes and the gear, etc, etc. Because of how short they were, and given that this was mostly based on stuff we've already kind of known, there's not really too much to note about them except for two main things. Firstly, we got a cool CG shot of Mario and Peach laying in the grass, and Mario gets absolutely decked by a soccer ball. Funny thing is that Peach is kind of watching it happen. She kind of sees the ball coming and doesn't give Mario any warning whatsoever. So a little warning would have been really nice, Peach. But I don't think this shot will be in the final game. I think it was made specifically for the trailer. Luigi's Mansion 3 had a very similar thing, where there was a really cool shot of Luigi sneaking down a hallway that wasn't used in the final game, but was just used for a trailer. And I don't know if this is something we already knew, but it's something I didn't notice until this trailer. But the grass emblems on versions of the same stadium can actually change, as we see Bowser Stadium having a spiny shell as well as a torch. Now, this could be based on different variants of the stadium that you could buy in the store, or something that you can customize for your club, which is pretty cool either way. But we won't really know exactly how this works until the game comes out. And now, while we're on the topic of the turf of the field, I have heard that some people are upset that the terrain in each field is only grass. And while I kind of understand the complaint, it doesn't bother me as much as it does for those other people. Each stadium does have a different shade of green for their pitch, and I think that does work kind of well, but I completely understand where people are coming from here. Particularly with like Bowser's Castle, for instance, I would have preferred maybe a stone terrain for that with lava coming through like I did in my Mario Strikers wish list video for the stadiums, but like I said, it's not a really big bother for me. Next up, Nintendo of America uploaded some screenshots of the stadiums, and it's really good to see some higher quality photos of these stadiums. And there are some small details in these photos that I really like. For example, with the Luigi's Mansion Stadium. Some of the screen monitors are just regular screen monitors and may even be compared to EGAD screens, but there are also some that look like picture frames and portraits, and that's such a really cool nod to Luigi's Mansion. I honestly really like it. I think my main complaint on these screenshots is the crowd. The crowd is pretty heavily the same. There is some diversity depending on which stadium you're in, but I've noticed a lot of Yoshis in the field, and I kind of wish the crowd was more suited to each stadium. Like mainly having Toads and Toadettes, etc. for the Peach's Castle Stadium, Ghosts and Boos for the Luigi's Mansion one, Goombas, Koopas, Dry Bones, etc. for the Bowser's Castle Stadium, etc. etc. I feel like that crowd diversity would make each stadium feel even more unique and diverse, and having the two stadiums come together and having one half be, let's say, Toads and Toadette and all that kind of stuff, and then the other side being Ghost and Boos would really make each side feel even more unique, rather than the crowds being basically the same with some minor adjustments. And the last point I have is really not from any of the new trailers or anything we've seen, but it's how I'm feeling about the game overall. We're only a couple weeks away now, and I think I can solidly say that I'm pretty excited for this game. I know this game won't match the energy that the previous installments had before, but I can really see that Next Level Games is bringing character and personality to this game, and they're really trying, and I think we should give it a fair shot. I just hope there are unlockable characters or something to justify that really small character roster that we're seeing, or else Next Level Games is going to have a lot of explaining to do with this, because I think it's quite inexcusable for there only to be 10 characters at this point. I really hope we get news that there's some unlockable, or even if they keep it a secret and we figure out by playing the game. I just want some unlockable characters, at least 4, 5, or 6 of them. So what do you guys think of Mario Strikers Battle League? We're only a couple weeks away, and I would really love to hear what you all have to say about the game. I'm going to try and stream Mario Strikers on the GameCube at some point, just to play it for you guys, so you can come and watch, and we can get really hyped for Mario Strikers together. I think that could be a really good time, but like I said, let me know what you think down in the comments down below. I would love to hear what you all have to say. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. Like, comment, and subscribe. All that stuff down below. Hit that notification bell so that you're notified of when I upload videos. And check out the merch store. There's some cool ZakPak merch up on there for you to check out. And until next time, you guys, I'll see you in the next video.